do it. Do it.
There we go. We're live. Hello.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we start and I give the intro and everything, so just so people know, for anyone who follows us, our go live notification this week is, what tools do you use for D&D? And we got Talk YouTuber in the chat saying that the tools that they use for D&D is DM of their current campaign. She can be a tool sometimes, but she's also really creative. So that's a very creative choice of answer. That's pretty cool. Okay.
As a dungeon master, it's your job to be a tool and the clown, and it's
That
great.
is true. That is true.
No, you're not just a clown. You have to be the entire circus, the stage. And the
You know what? That's even more accurate.
Yeah, so
You
DM
are
is the best
everything.
tool of them all. I guess. Alright, hello and welcome to the 9th episode of Rogues Gallery Podcast, where we talk about all things D&D and TTRPG and bringing those to your the main cast. We got the actual, main cast this week, full cast. Aina, that's me, and then there's Rain, who covers news. And then War, who covers homebrew, and me and Crit here, the one next to me,
Hello.
covers stories, good and bad. So we'll see. So yeah. I'm bad at transition, so let's go to Rain with the news.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back, and show us, please. So today, our main news story. It's not really a news, but it's a new thing, and it's something interesting for us to talk about, which is a new tabletop called RPG Stories. Puts others to shame, apparently. I haven't went through much to this article, but from a quick glance, it looks interesting. It's like a mix of it looks like a video game. And if it's a TTRPG that looks like a video game, now I'm interested. So, RPG Stories is a virtual tabletop with a world builder so powerful and robust, you think you're playing Skyrim 2.
Really? Hey, it
yeah,
says here.
apparently. So, I mean, it does look pretty good here. I haven't watched any of this right now, so we're both adventuring together here. Why don't you play that video there? Just see what's up. I actually don't know. Yeah, there's a 4-minute video, so that shouldn't be too bad.
Let's see. Let me figure out. Hold on.
You can do it. I believe in you.
I'm pulling up the website.
I gotta figure out audio. Hold on.
I'll just pause there you go.
Oh wow, it's so low. Hold on. I did not expect this. You could have given me bit of a heads up. But okay.
Currently,
All right.
Kickstarter, so be sure to check out links in the description. RPG Stories is the perfect name for this product because that's what this software really promotes, telling your own stories. Rather than just being a virtual tabletop, RPG Stories is a unique all-in-one package for building your campaign, your world, your characters, and of course, playing through those stories.
No.
One of the main highlights of RPG Stories is that it is open to any setting or style of campaign.
Okay.
Of course, fantasy style
How
is
do
a
you make
mainstay
the
of
assets? It's
plenty
all I'm
of
thinking
role-playing
here.
systems.
I think it's
but
It said
included.
imported.
Stories is
Yeah,
fully
you can
compatible
import.
with sci-fi, Victorian,
Honestly,
modern horror,
importing
or
assets,
whatever
free
era of
assets
RPG you can think
is a
of,
game changer at that
RPG
point.
Stories can handle. So all of you Call of Cthulhu and World of Darkness
I mean,
players should
isn't
be paying
this
attention.
kind of like
Forget
Tailspire?
using flat
It is.
Isn't that exactly what Tailspire does specifically?
There are
kinda-
some limitation to Tailspire, but
Mm.
yeah, like I do agree. It does like Tailspire, but Tailspire have several limitations. First of all, it is aimed at simulating tabletop. But,
Yeah, strictly the tabletop feel.
yeah, so
Not a
you'll
video
have
game.
tokens rather than people walking around. This one looks more cinematic. It's a
looks
preference thing, so
animated,
yeah, so it'll be up to you whichever one you prefer. Another
most-
thing is, it seems like this one has a lot more. It seemed to have the what you call automatically generated map. Like when you create a room, it will automatically populate it, which I think would be a useful tool. Because when I tried to make a Tailspire map, it was hard. compared to a 2D map. It's so much easier.
Good,
So
good.
yeah.
Also, coming from a 3D environment like VFX artist itself,
Mhm.
this looks like a 3D program also instead of like a grid-based program like Tailspire is.
Mm.
I disagree completely. Look,
Oh.
this looks like just animated tokens on a grid, just invisible grid.
Yeah, it's true. Like I said, this one's more like animated tokens and everything, while in Tailspire, it's more for static 3D model. That's kind of like their emphasis on. All the animations that they have in there is more like you moving your token and action, doing the action. So I guess that's the main difference. But yeah, we're barely halfway through the video, so we'll see what else they
You wanna see
provide.
more? Okay.
Dozens of pre-built models to use in RPG stories, featuring high-quality 3D models with a realistic art style that makes visuals spring to life. Simple but impressive details like dynamic water flow and fog of war, dynamic lighting, weather systems, and more ensure that you will be fully engrossed in the story being told. And everything being highly optimized means it runs smoothly and won't interrupt your gameplay. You'll be able to upload your own 3D models as well. And while RPG Stories recommends you adhere to their model specifications, they don't want to get in the way of your creativity. As such, they won't stop you from uploading whatever models you want, even if it might break the system. And this is all in thanks to their world building mode. The world building mode is designed to be as easy as drag and drop. Each setting has a unique drag and drop room builder that will automatically fill in with the style of that setting. RPG Stories is specifically designed with playgroups in mind. This is because the world building mode is separate from the play mode, and they can be purchased separately as well. This means each playgroup will only need one world building account for their GM, and the remaining players will only need the play mode module. This makes RPG Stories much more affordable when taking the whole playgroup into account. And of course, the world building mode is just as impressive as the play mode. For those players who like simple and minimalistic experience, RPG Stories has multiple UI options, allowing players to turn on and off the features as they like. This keeps your experience as streamlined or as in-depth as you want, so you can choose your own level of complexity. RPG Stories are also working to build a community for their fans. Backers of the Kickstarter will have a chance to vote on which features and models they want to see implemented. So getting in on the Kickstarter now means you will have a more direct voice in the future development of RPG Stories. And a community is all about sharing, and RPG Stories is designed for that as well. Their matchmaking system will give creators a platform to share their stories with a wider audience.
So kind of like a
Plus,
Roll20-ish little
anything
bit
designed
there.
in RPG Stories will be able to be fully exported and shared or sold to your heart's content.
Oh, hey.
The export tool
Oh,
takes
there's a market-
every
if
aspect
there's
of
a
your
marketplace,
campaign
it'll
and
have
turns it
a
into
lot
an
of artists.
easy-to-share
Yeah.
package. If it is sold, RPG Stories does not take any cut of the sales of things you make using their software.
Oh,
In
that's
fact,
nice.
they offer options for watermarking and password protection just to make sure that your stories remain your stories. And that's what RPG Stories is all about, helping you tell your stories. It's on Kickstarter, so be sure to follow for any updates.
That's right.
And to get more involved with
Alright.
this growing community, be sure
How many times do you think they tried that until they got it?
I'm sorry, what?
How many times?
I was wondering how many times they re-rolled the 20. Yeah.
To get a nat 20 close to the Kickstarter.
Well, talking to you, Rissa, it's like there's Dungeon Alchemist, which is AI powered, so kind of like a combination of both. I've heard of Dungeon Alchemist, but I don't actually know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Dungeon Alchemist is a thing as well, but it doesn't have the tabletop features. And again, like what they have is apparently just CG trailer. It's not actually it hasn't been. There's no proof of concept application being built
Dungeon
up yet.
Alchemist?
Dungeon Alchemist, yeah, if I recall.
It says
Last
it's-
time I read it.
It's out on Steam right now.
Oh
Sorry,
shit,
what?
really?
I think so.
Yeah,
Isn't it early
Gotta
access?
check
actually-
it. I gotta check it.
And you can export it to fucking Foundry as well.
Ah, that's
It's
because you can
out.
do the
It's
top down.
$38. Dang, son.
For-
But yeah, like if you ask me, I
So-
think this is a pretty cool platform. I do wish it has more tabletop features like, journals and character sheet and shit. Maybe they don't have that in mind yet. At the moment, it's just a cinematic, kind of like Tailspire, which I'm always sus about going into because 3D is usually heavier than 2D, so it kind of closes off people, and then all the other players have to pay to get it. That's another barrier as well. I try to avoid having as much barrier as possible when trying to do this. So, yeah,
Well,
my
well,
opinion.
they did say, the DM only needs to pay the builder account.
Yeah, DM
And
needs to pay the
everybody
player
else
account, but
has to
everybody
get
else has to pay player account.
There's
Everybody
a
has to
player
pay for it.
account.
Yeah, it's
So
just I'm assuming that's free, or if not, if
No.
it's paid, then
Ooh.
that's
not real. I guess it's like yeah, like Tailspire and what was the other one people use? Tabletop Simulator. Everybody has to pay for it.
Yeah.
At least the other one was the fantasy ground. Though we used fantasy ground for a bit, I
Yeah,
think. Yeah.
Fantasy Ground, yeah.
Uh,
That one
only-
everybody
only
that one
back
you
then
can download a
was by
free version, yeah.
license, yeah.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't say that it's completely free, which I assume it would advertise if it is. So, yeah.
Another important thing, of course, it's Kickstarter. Like until they put out an actual model and not like the CG, actually an actual application and not the CG trailers. I'm a little bit sus about trusting.
It's coming
works
Yeah, yeah.
soon.
as you always should be.
But yeah,
There's
like
actually not a
it's
lot.
always nice to have more competition. At the moment, Tailspire is the only main 3D tabletop, other than Tabletop Simulator. But Tabletop Simulator is more like general one. This one specifically TTRPG. So we'll see. Looking forward to it. I kind of like the aesthetic of this one more compared to Tailspire, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's just me.
I do have a question actually about 3D stuff. You used Tailspire before, right?
Yes.
Equivalent. How much prep time does it add as a game master? Because I imagine like hours upon hours for everything.
I'm a noob in making making maps in Tailspire, so it's a bit hard for me. Like I spent like 2-3 hours and I barely got a single map done. Like, and I'm not even trying to make like an outdoors map. I'm trying to make an inside, like a room. It's really hard for me to do it, so it definitely extends prep time. Another thing is I can't just draw my own token when I want to.
Yeah,
So
that was
like
good.
yeah, that's another thing. And apparently what most people do is like they go to like a community marketplace kind of thing, and then they can just download and then use that in their campaign. Apparently that's the common practice.
Yeah. So for
Yeah.
any first time viewers, we usually use Foundry on this channel, and it's up to me. I think it's pretty great already.
Yeah. Like one main thing that Foundry has for it is that community modules. If you don't have it, you make it yourself. I've made several modules. No, it's not several. One module for myself as well. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, that's the main story about RPG stories. Pretty cool. Give him a look, and if you like it, support it. Other than that, we got some news, actual news this time around. One of it is Wizards of the Coast is forming a AAA game studio, if I recall correctly, called Skeleton Key. So, like, it's headed by the former Dragon Age producer, so that's a good start at least, because I really like the Dragon Age series and the Mass Effect series. Mass Effect more, I think. But
Interesting.
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, like Mass Effect 1, 2, 3 as a whole is like a good trilogy, but like as a single game, I think Dragon Age Origins is the best one for me. That's what I feel at least. But
Okay, you
yeah,
pass.
okay, first. I just really like Mass Effect because a lot of the callbacks, like when you're in the third game and then you see Rex from the original game and then you see I can't remember what's the Solarian character, the singing scientist. You see him
How
again. It's
embarrassing.
I know,
Your
but yeah,
favorite
it's so
game?
nice. I'm sorry, man. I haven't played it in a while, but yeah, Wizard of the Coast forming a AAA game. I don't think they announced any games that they're working on right now, but they're just starting it up and they're open for applications if you're interested. So, oh, you're graduating, so maybe you want to try this.
Okay, that was
Uh,
very subtle of you right there, Rain. Very subtle.
yeah. Anyways, another thing. Next would be in the year 2021, hobby game sales went up by a lot. Let me open the article here. And compared to previous years, we have the sales of hobby game sales up by 1/3. Maybe because despite supply chain challenges, maybe people locked indoors just really like tabletop games.
Yeah, I saw this news from Philly D like a few days ago, and yeah,
Oh.
like it rose up during uh um COVID pandemic lockdown,
Mhm.
but it continually rose after.
Yes.
Although
So yeah.
2022 hasn't come out yet, so
Despite what people despite how actually in Malaysia at least, like people think like board games and everything are childish games. The rest of the world seems to prove them wrong. So hell yeah, because children can't buy board games because they're expensive as fuck.
they are.
Those
Oh my
children,
God.
those children will look at us adults playing games and be like, "I want to do that,"
yeah,
and
yeah,
then that's how nostalgia hits you.
yeah. Alright, next, rolling together. Indie RPG creators are joining forces to change the industry for good. So there's kind of like a news where a couple of indie RPG creators, they kind of like, I guess, well, what's the word? Unionizing almost? Because they're often paid very badly, sometimes not even paid for their work. So they kind of like group up together to basically fight for indie RPG writer, right? That is.
Yes.
Next, Paizo is announcing Infinite Masters. So, Pathfinder, sorry, Paizo Games, Pathfinder and Starfinder, they have Pathfinder Infinite and Starfinder Infinite, which is kind of like their community basically, who they kind of like they create stuff and they have like quite high quality stuff. So basically, they have the Infinite Masters. Is basically like these guys can kind of help vet new content, so they can produce a lot of content faster because Pathfinder is releasing a lot of shit, bro. Like one of it, this is gonna skip a couple of articles right now. One of it, the new one that's coming out, is Pathfinder 5e module slash adventure path called Abominations Vault. So Abominations Vault is a Pathfinder adventure path, aka module for Pathfinder, and they are importing it over to 5e so that people can actually experience the story in the 5e system. So that's cool.
Cool.
Yeah. Other than that, we also got. Remember, I talked about Cipher System Open License, so like the SRD for Cipher System. It's now available. So if you guys are interested in making your own Cipher RPG, go ahead and start right now. And finally, we also have an anime-inspired TTRPG. It's inspired by animes like Hunter x Hunter, My Hero Academia, and I can't remember Naruto and Dragon Ball, where they're making a TTRPG called, what was it? Where is it? There you go. Stand Up Hero. Isn't that a cool title? Yeah. So like they're making a TTRPG all about tournaments apparently. So pretty cool. It's allowing 2 to 6 players, and it's but to be played around 2 to 3 hour RPG as a traditional competition. So yeah, it's a
So,
pretty interesting one.
so like the tournament arc of an anime, is it?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that
yeah.
what it's...
Basically, it's a whole TTRPG based on the tournament arc of an anime.
That's
So just PvP, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. Like, check here.
You play the
design-
hero's
design-
companions as they face down the villain in a final tournament arc.
Well, there you go. So, yeah, it is apparently a what do you call? Card focused games, I think.
Oh, like a deck builder thing, or
I
whatever it's
think
called.
so. Yeah, Stand Up Hero uses a card-driven gameplay of Alex Roberts' storytelling RPG for the Queen as its foundation via the Open Descendant from the Queen license. Rather than controlling the game heroes directly, the player creates companions. They will accompany and support the main protagonist in the battle. So
I've
yeah.
heard good things of for the Queen, so
Oh, there you go. That's just
she's to
something
being hopeful,
interesting.
I guess.
Yeah, we should try other RPG in the future, you know?
You want to
But yeah.
see other RPGs? I thought what we had was enough, right?
No, I want more.
He's a non-committal kind of guy. You gotta
I
understand.
know.
Can't be tied down.
I know. I need to be free to try other RPG. Um, Other news, more stuff. Battle Zoo 5e supplement. Another Pokemon-based supplement is releasing for D&D. I don't know why people like Pokemon. People make Pokemon supplements nowadays, but hey, it's there. Spelljammer is coming on August 18th, so there's like some quick look at Spelljammer content coming out. I was like confused. But yeah, there's a bunch of cool monsters. Can you just like scroll down very quickly so that you can see all the weird and cool monsters that they have over there?
Fish. Ew.
Yeah, so they have kind of like weird fish stuff, and then there's I call this like a
Mollymon?
whale as well. Yeah, space hamsters is a thing as well. So yeah, you know, monsters.
Hey, pigs can fly.
Pigs can fly. Yes, there you go. Space swine. Anyways, that is for the supplements. Next, we got a nodes cheat sheet over here for you guys to use. Remember, if we talk about level up 5e, there's a node system where you can make interesting dungeon. Ian Will has so kindly created a simple cheat sheet that we can use to get an idea of like their system so that you can quickly set up your dungeon to make it very nodesy. No, a better one. To level up your dungeon making. Huh? Yes? That's pretty good, right?
Boo.
In other news, we got Gen Con Indy coming up.
Get
coming
better
up.
jokes.
Wow.
Let's just move on from that. Nobody heard that at all. Yep.
Totally
We got
not stream or recorded. Yeah.
Gen Con Indy is coming up August 4th to 7th, which means starting tomorrow. So if you guys are nearby, go ahead and join them. As well as PaizoCon South Pacific is another Paizo convention. It's happening, and also you guys can join in there as well. Other than that, some cool new shit that we just FYIs. Critical Role Cluedo is out.
Ooh.
Yeah, of course the detectives are not and also Jester, so that's
Is it gonna be different than how you usually play Cluedo? Or
I
are they
don't
just
know.
gonna
I've
flavor
never
it?
played Cluedo,
How
so
could you not have played Cluedo?
I know. I have Cluedo, I never played it. And
Wow.
I don't even
finally
know what that is.
well, there you go. We gotta play it sometime. But yeah, and finally, we got Cyberpunk Edge Runner. It's a new new TTRPG TV show, I guess, so to speak. It's Cyberpunk. It looks cool. And it's got a trailer.
I think it's based on the game more instead of the RPG at this point.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
CD Projekt
That's-
sequel to Tabletop.
Oh, is
But
it?
yeah, I mean the Cyberpunk, it's tabletop first and foremost, but I don't think it's continuing any of the video game storyline or anything. It's just in the setting. Usually movies and TV series, they don't really care about the mechanics. They kind of do as long as it's around about right. We'll see. But yeah, there is a collaboration with CD Projekt Red there, so who knows, maybe. But yeah, that is everything for me for the news. As usual, half an hour. I need to shorten my time.
Yeah.
That's everything from me.
So, that was a lot. And critical thinking in chat should get better jokes. Thank you.
I'm gonna leave now. Goodbye.
Anyway,
there.
Let's go to the next section where we talk about stories. And hopefully maybe next week we will have a bit lesser news and be a bit more focused on our news. And maybe not,
Okay, wow, calling me out here. All right,
confuse
I
me
get you.
with the...
I get you. I get
I'm
you.
sorry, you did great,
I get
sweetie.
I get you.
Bickering like a married couple on episode 9. This is not good.
Anyway, let's go to this week's horror story. Well, I don't know if it's exactly a horror story. It has an okay ending, I guess. But there is a bit of a discussion here that I do want to talk
Oh.
about. So, the title is How I Broke Up with My Toxic Girlfriend Thanks to Dungeons and Dragons, posted in r/critcrap by you Skeleton Crow 41309. Okay, so the first part here is just hi all, I'm new to Reddit, and this whole campaign was horror story worthy. But here's the shortest story I've had so far. So this group was set up around the beginning of last year when I was dating the druid of our party and my now ex-girlfriend, who we can call Shadow for convenience. I was hanging out at Druid and DM's place when I lamented the fact that I've been interested in D&D for a while, but never had enough friends and confidence at the same time to actually get a campaign going. The DM mentioned he's DM campaigns before and offered to start up a new one, and I enthusiastically accepted with the understanding that I also really wanted to bring Shadow along because she also likes D&D. The DM said okay, and we made our characters then and there because we were all really excited. Excuse me, what do you mean place a druid is a massive red flag?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Whoa. Anyway, so just to make it a bit clear, Shadow is the girlfriend, Druid is the character that the girlfriend plays.
Yeah.
I think. Okay.
Yes.
So later, Shadow went over to hang out and make her character. This would be the only time she ever hung out with the guys alone. She said it went fine, and she was making a paladin of some race that needed her to hide as much skin as possible, so her character would be wearing full plate at all times. I thought it was a pretty neat concept, and she intentionally kept her character's gender vague, so I figured she was probably playing a non-binary character. My friends are all cool about that kind of thing, as I'm a non-binary trans man IRL, and all of them are some other flavor queer. Overall, the first half of the campaign was fun. We broke into Mayor's office, saved the magic dog, got tea with the guru, and had a run-in with a thieves guild. You know, normal party things.
Normal campaign starting things.
Normal D&D party things. But
That
briefly-
actually sounds dope. Save a dog? Hell yeah.
Yeah, magic dog, mind you. My brief relationship with Druid ended and resulted in me being a bit snippy at his character during sessions, but I got over it and the party were sent to do a mission on an island involving missing children. At this point, Shadow started acting really weird about the party dynamic, which in fairness were not great, but we were all friends outside the game, so nobody really saw it as a problem. After a particularly chaotic session, Shadow took me aside and explained that her character was actually a secret self-insert that she was trying to use to work out some personal trauma-related issues. She revealed a whole bunch of character backstory to me that I wasn't allowed to tell anyone in or out of the game, and told me to just treat her character the same way I treated her. I tried to gently dissuade her from using D&D as free therapy like she was apparently trying to do, and impressed upon her that we were all here to roll dice and be lawful chaotic bastards together. I told her our characters couldn't treat her character the same way we treated her because none of them actually knew each other. But I still loved her and my friends really wanted to be friends with her. Just please not take any of it personally. So just kind of look miffed and move on with a whatever, I guess, kind of attitude, and I thought that was that. So where do you think is the red flag here so far? Okay.
I
Are you
mean,
gonna say something or just chuckle?
Where
I
to
mean,
begin?
trying to use D&D for like personal trauma-related issues. I mean, it's cool to include that kind of stuff for your character, you know, like trauma, and then work through it. For the character, not sure if it's a good idea to, you know, put your actual personal trauma in the character, because when something happens to the character, it's more likely that you'll take it personal.
That is true. I mean, personally, I like to put a part of myself in a character just for the sake of relatability.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Like that's the
And-
reason I need to make a good aligned character, because I just feel wrong if I don't do that. So yeah.
Hello, Life Gambit.
Hello.
Yeah, we're just reading some horror stories, RPG horror stories we found here. So right now we're talking about OP, who have a toxic girlfriend who plays D&D with, and right now we're at the part where she made a character who was actually a secret self-insert, and trying to use that to work out some personal trauma-related issue. So, okay, there's a bit more here. Let's unravel. So for a while, things were fine, but at this point, it was apparent that DM had no idea what my girlfriend was trying to do with her character. And being the only person at the table with that knowledge, trying to subtly push the spotlight towards Shadow, which was the girlfriend, was exhausting. After a few missions on the island, things got heated between Shadow's character and our fighter again. They had something of a rivalry the entire time, and I think Shadow saw him as a competition for the spotlight, and some weird sort of "we're both martial classes, so I need to prove my worth" way. We got home from the session with Shadow feeling disappointed and irritated, and I finally told the DM what was going on. Our DM is a genial guy, always looking for the best solution, so I suggest to Shadow that she talk to him about her character, so they could either rework her into not being a self-insert or roll her up a new one. So I did that, and Shadow went ballistic, saying I had betrayed her trust, that everything was fine, that there was nothing wrong with what she was doing, and I had no right to tell the DM. We had a big fight about it, where she hurled all sorts of accusations at me, and I tried to defuse the situation while staying firm on how severely uncool it was that she hadn't even asked the DM about any of her character decisions, but it ended up with the both of us feeling defeated. She said my friends didn't like her anyway, and she wasn't going to play with us ever again, and that was that. Had to explain all that to my friends, of course, but other than that, Shadow's exit from our group was handled with no fanfare, as her character never even made an attempt at being friendly or trying to do anything, and we kept playing. So a few months later, after our wizard joined the party, one of my D&D bros had a birthday party. Since Wizard lived out of town, we all agreed I could pick her up and she could crash at my place. The party was awesome, and cemented Wizard as a key part of our friend group. After the party, Wizard and me got home very late and a little drunk, and the next day Shadow blew up again because I stayed out too late, got home drunk, and kicked her out of bed. I brought up the fact that there was no way I kicked her out of her very spacious bed, and pointed out that she was being unreasonable because I had told her that I would be out late. I told her if she really didn't want me crawling to bed late and drunk, she could have told me to sleep on the couch and I would have been fine. After that, she went and angrily cleaned the house. So a bit of a domestic stuff here. So afterwards, OP drove Wizard home, and since it's a long drive, we talked about my relationship with Shadow, how I knew all of this was extremely bad for me, that Shadow was clearly trying to drive a wedge between my friends and I, and the details of a bunch of other toxic behaviors she was practicing. The conversation with Wizard really put things into perspective, and I spent the rest of the day hanging out with her at her house before I had to go to work. And when I got home, I broke it off with Shadow. And now I can say D&D has helped me get out of a toxic relationship. Shadow definitely wasn't the worst problem player ever seen at a D&D table, but had to live with that kind of behavior. So a little bit of an epilogue. Last I heard, Shadow's getting actual therapy. I'm still friends with all my D&D bros, and I'm in a happy relationship with an amazing girl who loves me in a healthy way instead of a controlling way like Shadow. So yeah, TLDR, toxic girlfriend makes a secret self-insert for free therapy, throws a fit, and rage quits when nobody caters to her stated needs. Months later, complains that I keep going out to have fun with my friends and I break up with her. What you guys think?
I
That's
don't know how the OP ignored the first red flag of her fucking storming off and saying all the OP's friends hate her and everything. Like, that seems like a thing relationships, have to work around, and not go like, oh well, okay, and just continue as if nothing happened.
maybe they did though. Maybe it's more like a they talked it out. It's like it's a pet peeve, but they moved on because they like each other and they don't wanna linger on the bad stuff, I guess. But yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah,
I
but
hope
Yeah,
so.
you try to fix it. When you're in a relationship, like you fight and then you try to recover from it, not just give up. So
Nah,
I
the light bulb breaks, you buy a new house.
what
Also, did you kick him out? What happened?
Wait, what?
do you mean?
Where's
Did I kick who out?
Hey, Rain, welcome back.
yeah, I think my internet went.
What?
Oh,
oh
okay.
oh
Because you're still here on the screen. But
You
yeah,
disappeared for a sec.
I honestly, when I was reading this towards the end, I don't actually really see how Shadow was being super toxic. Like, I don't know. I guess I was expecting even worse behavior than like, oh, I don't like you hanging out with your friends and making a character for self-insert in D&D.
I mean, I'm assuming I don't think she did he did say it's a toxic girlfriend. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think there are some things
and
that are unstated here because, for example, he said the campaign. There's a lot of bad things he could say about the campaign,
yeah.
but to me, the campaign sounds awesome. They had like a cool starting session. The GM was like understanding and like what to communicate. So it sounded good. But again, I think he left out detail because
I
it's
guess
a
it
long.
feels relevant. Yeah, and yeah, I agree, Aldriel. It does sound a bit I guess it does sound a bit toxic. Like, I'm not saying that her behavior is not toxic at all, but also OP did bring Wizard, who was a female, home, and
I
he bring him home late drunk, which was not like the best idea. Like, I mean, coming home with a girl late night drunk, just not the greatest idea. Which I think I get Shadow's
yeah.
outburst.
Yeah, that's fair, but I'm assuming that it's discussed that hey, we have a friend here. She's from our town. She's gonna stay at our place for one day. Is that okay? Because yeah, if you come back home drunk with a girl that you've never seen before, uh, yeah, questions are going to start being thrown out there. That's a fair reason to get randomly angry.
So here
I
it
mean,
says we all agreed I could pick her up. So I'm not sure we all is included with Shadow or not.
just friends, not
Yeah.
Shadow.
Yeah.
But considering that Shadow is getting therapy after all of this, and DOP says it's a very toxic relationship, I'm guessing we're missing like months and months of
Minor things.
context behind it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously there's something going on with them in general, and
Yeah,
well, talk to your partners. It's that easy, boys.
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
And I do agree. Like, I mean, some of these things you need to go and get actual therapy. Like, D&D is not the place to work it out. Although, I honestly, D&D can be a way to like work yourself through it. Even if like you did a self insert, just as long as it's not like a full on self insert, you know, like what Crit said, put a part of yourself in for relatability, which I think most of us do, and I do that a lot. But I also get very attached to my character, in which like if things go bad with her, I would be in a bad mood as well. But I didn't think that was necessarily super toxic. I think what was toxic though was that she's not trying to, like, her character never even made an attempt at being friendly, and then but expecting other people to do the same. I think that's kind of the toxic part, and then just like, oh, you're not gonna do this, then
No, I think the toxic part was the fact that that she's telling him that he's trying to gaslight him that her friends never liked him in the first place, blah blah blah, and so on. What she did about the self-insert thing was a bad move, but I mean it's a mistake that anyone can make, to be honest. Like wanting to put yourself, because D&D is about embodying character, and that character could be yourself. That's an understandable mistake. Yeah. And yeah, I think there's like issues on both sides here as well. The boyfriend bringing out a girl, if it's not discussed, it's a really bad move there.
I mean,
But yeah,
yeah,
I'm, in the end, I'm just glad both of them. The guy ended up nice, and the girl also getting
yeah,
help and everything.
yeah.
So That's a
Yeah.
good ending for a horror story.
Yeah, although technically it wasn't really D&D that helped the OP to like break up with a toxic girlfriend. It was like
It was
his
friends.
friend group. Yeah.
Friends. So
They
friends,
just played
guys,
D&D together.
have them.
So yeah, the moral of the story isn't D&D helped me. It's a friend. It's emotional support that
Hey,
helped me.
hey, hey.
D&D
D&D
friend
help
group.
you find friends.
So in a way, it
Yeah.
is D&D. So I
Yeah.
guess. Okay.
All right.
Means
Uh,
to an end.
Yeah. So that's the horror story that we have for this week, and yeah, this is from Kurt Crap Donver. Just to close it off, a comment by Toothbrush Bandit. I don't think you can see over Brain's big head, but I'll just read it out to you. I don't know why someone would assume a band of adventurers would be good therapists.
They're just the best therapists, really.
But hey, but you never know. Like therapists might play D&D too, so right.
It could just be a codependent relationship, like most party, to be honest.
I mean,
Just-
my D&D character is a
Imagine.
doctor, so I mean,
Ah, well, there you go.
I
it's
mean,
very
imagine,
common, just
Just
imagine
because
a
you play a doctor
D&D,
doesn't mean you're a licensed professional.
but imagine a D&D party where the characters just go around giving free therapy to people. Like, damn, you made a
Turning
BBEG
villains into
and be like, okay, obviously you're mirroring some pent up resentment to about your parent or something. Let's talk about it.
You're describing every anime ever, I feel. Fuck no jutsu.
I'm just saying, it's really cool.
pretty cool.
Yeah. Alright.
Anyway, let's go to the next section where we talk about homebrew. So I'm gonna give this over to War. Go for it. What do you have for us
Yeah.
this week?
Yeah, for this week we don't have some fancy schmancy art. Sorry about that. Usually it's just a neat, tiny little package or PDF file. But I'd like to highlight a certain item and just like, honestly, the creativity on this item is just so out of the wazoo that I feel like I should have. I want to bring this up for this segment. And today, the item we have right here is called the Reviser. I think the name's hidden
Yep.
by some.
Yeah, it's the
Can-
ad. So that's
Yeah.
okay. We have
Yeah, all right.
here.
So as we can see, we're in a website right now. We can look at the image, but this item comes from a D&D podcast live play called Dungeons and Daddies. It's not a BDSM podcast, and I feel like anyone should check it out if it's totally cheesy. It's really fun. It has a lot of dad pun humor that's tastefully implemented, and it's honestly quite a fun time. And that's all I have to say. You should check it out for yourself.
And
But
despite
basically-
the name, we talked about this before. It's not a BDSM podcast.
Yeah, not a BDSM podcast. Dungeons and Daddies.
Most
Go
of the
check 'em out.
time.
It's like
Most of the
like-
time.
most of the time, yes. I think, yeah, for like a few half of the first 20 episodes. Anyway, the item we'll be looking at is called the Reviser. It appears in episode 16. So in Dungeons and Daddies, Patreon users can submit magical items that the daddies can like obtain and whatnot. So on episode 16, Henry Oak, one of their players, gets to use the Reviser, and we'll read its abilities right here. The description of the item is a magically imbued green transparent visor that allows the user to alter a spell alphabetically by swapping out up to 2 letters with 2 new letters to change the meaning of its words. So, for example, you could take the firebolt, replace the R and E with an S and an H,
Oh, God.
and turn it to fishbolt.
Oh no.
And then the user would fire up dozens of halibut at its point, and you can use it once per rest. This
Okay.
is such a fucking amazing item. Oh, sorry for swearing. Okay, I have to. This is so amazing.
Oh, you have
Okay.
to go to Gulag now. Sorry.
Alright.
gotta complete the gulag. Anyway,
Think of the children war.
I'm sorry. Anyway, this was creatively used when. So the situation is as I described it, and I'm not joking. This is literally what happens. one of the children that
You
has
might
got
want to
them-
give a spoiler because
Yeah,
that's what
sorry,
they said.
spoiler warning for episode 16. Either way, we get to see what happens to the item on the image, but spoiler warning for episode 16 of Dungeons and Daddies. So one of the children of the dads, I think his name is Grant, gets stuck in a Fortnite-esque tournament called Four Nights. And I'm not joking.
hate
The
it.
DM made an entire build structure system, like roll to investigation. You can choose to either find an item or the roll can be used to find the amount of stone, wood, or like metal. I feel for the materials to build the structures in Fortnite. So a lot of shit happened. They're in a building. This high level player is about to jump across this barricaded door. Henry Oak, the player, used, I think, Healing Word and replaced it to Healing Wood. So as soon as
Okay.
the player jumped and broke the barricade, he used the spell, and the wood instantly like repaired itself, intersecting and like splicing the guy mid jump. So it like pierced his entire body and had him stuck there mid air jumping. The barricade's like crushing his body and everything. And my God, it was so amazing. But Natural One made it break instantly, so that was the only time it was ever used.
That's it's such a
yeah.
cool item, a very chaotic item. If
Yeah.
someone's really good at those word swapping, but sounds cool.
Imagine power word kill, but replace two letters and make it something fancy.
Power
Exactly.
word kiss. You have to kiss
Oh
each
my
other now.
god! How would that work? What is the effect
Don't
of it?
give her
What the
ideas,
heck?
Rain. Please.
It is like two lips suddenly feel like magnets and they instantly get sucked into each other.
They're like grappled to each other, you know, until the end of the spell.
You know, that brings another meaning to the let's love not fight thing. You know?
make love,
Make
not
love,
war.
not war. There you go.
Honestly, yeah, the end boundless possibilities of this item is why I felt like this should be highlighted today for Homebrew a showcase. But yeah, that's the reviser. Do with it as you will.
Also,
in chat.
Yeah.
Eldrel in chat put power wool kill.
Would it
And I'm
just
imagining
kill-
like a giant sheep just falls from the sky, just kills everybody.
I
Sounds
thought
like
you
you
kill
would
all
call it-
wool, so like maybe maybe a butcher would use it to like just kill all the sheep so they don't have to slaughter. Also, War made this art. Ooh, can you give us a reason why this is how the item looks like?
I mean, it's a green translucent visor.
Is that what
So
it
you-
is? Oh, it is.
Yeah, I was like
perfect.
basing it off the description. Like,
I get it because
okay,
it revises a spell and it's also a visor. Get it?
Oh,
And it's got daddy energy as well.
got
Yeah,
it. It does. I can see my Dungeons and Daddies. Oh my god.
Okay,
Hey,
it's
Yeah.
one for daddy and 0 for daddy.
Uh.
We'll continue to find more
Should
evidence to
want these
determine
guys.
whether or not this is a daddy TTRPG or a daddy TTRPG.
or hey, if
It's
you want,
both and
It's
not
both.
at the same time. Trust me, it is a wild ride.
or hey, if you want actual proof, you can go and seek it for yourself by listening to their podcast.
Hey,
We're
yeah,
not
they
sponsored.
certainly need our shout out, definitely.
We're
Yeah,
not
they
sponsored
definitely
in
need
any
the
way.
exposure from us. They definitely.
Yeah,
need it.
exactly. You know?
Oh, we're super popular.
You're so kind.
Anyway, let's move on to the last section of the day. Where we hear another story, but a good one this time by Crit.
Hey, that's me.
Not crab.
Oh, it's another
Yeah,
Crit
oh.
community. I just realized. Hey,
We do be browsing that subreddit. It's true. It's true.
it's a good subreddit, to be fair.
Yeah.
It's a very good subreddit. I like them a lot. So yeah, the title of today's thread is called "Party Talks to Copy Paste Necromancer and Leaves a Dungeon Master Dumbfounded," posted by Tux Fad on the Crit Crab subreddit. Very good subreddit. I mean, I don't need to shout them out.
No.
You know.
What do you mean? They need our shout out. What are you talking
yeah.
about?
Oh god.
our
We are
many
a co-
viewers,
we are-
please go over to their channel, give them like and subscribe, tell them we sent you.
Tell them it's you. Yes, please.
There is it, yeah.
We
Sorry,
are
I
a
can't.
tight knit community. We need to bring up one another, okay?
Exactly.
No matter who they are,
Small
we gotta
creators
represent
supporting
them.
other small creators. I get it.
Wow,
Jesus.
small.
Continue. I need to stop laughing.
Alright, so today's topic kind of involves my famous. We'll talk about this some more after I'm done talking about it. Because I'm sure you guys have relatable stories to this very scenario. So, the thing starts with, I find it funny that I'm saying this, but I hate it when my party listens to me. So, the session had started regularly, as they normally do. My party, a Fire Genasi Rogue Assassin,
No, it's
a
Rouge.
Tieflings...
Sorry.
Do not interrupt me, please.
Sorry.
Genasi Rouge Assassin, Tiefling Circle of the Moon Druid, Goliath Path of the Berserker Barbarian, and their pet goblin that I was running as a champion fighter somehow, had just received a mission from a noble wishing to reclaim a destroyed town and rebuild it, and find the source of an unusual surge of undead in the area and deal with it. I began to describe things as they approached the ruins of a fortress and pushed their way through a few skeletons and zombies. When they made it to the courtyard of the fortress, they met the necromancer, who was fully prepared to have them nearly kill, as he was supposed to be set up for a true villain, a lich-like homebrew creature I made. So, to my utter surprise, instead of bum-rushing him to kill him on the spot, they started to talk to him. And this conversation lasted almost the entire encounter, where they asked him about himself and why he even wanted to raise an army of the undead.
Wait,
And
pause for a bit. This is exactly what I was saying in the last one, where it's just a party of therapy instead of like fighting. You talked it.
Totally planned this.
Totally. So yeah, as context, the session prior to this one had ended with me exclaiming my displeasure at their tactic of just killing everything and asking questions later.
Oh, I see.
So,
You
unfortunate.
get what you asked
You
for.
get what you wish for.
I was unable to give them proper answers, and I just acted out the character as how I was feeling. Flabbergasted. I had the necromancer stammer and stutter his way through the conversation until he had a breakdown and an existential crisis, yelling out something along the lines of, "I don't have a reason, okay?"
Oh my god!
Beautiful.
And having shattered the man's understanding of what he was doing and why, they managed to negotiate him into leaving and staying with an old druid ally of the party. And so he was willingly leaving some magical items and money in a chest and taking the remainder of his undead with him. Moral of the story is, be careful what complaints you say out loud to your players, as they might just listen to them when you don't want them to. And that's the story. As a game master, I can relate to this, because every time I expect the party to attack on sight, they will always talk. And when I expect them to talk, they will always attack on sight. It's a nightmare.
Players always find ways to inconvenience the DM.
I really like that though. Like okay, I have planned for the party to go to this dragon, sneak around the dragon, or maybe not go to the dragon and go underground and do a different mission entirely. But no, the party said, let's fight the dragon head on, let's go! And it's nice. It's just a nice curveball to the situation. It's basically my version of combat, basically, where, oh shit, brain need to activate, think, what will happen now?
No, I'm just messing up. That was a problem for me when I was like preparing specific outcomes for sessions instead of just dropping characters' motivations and places in front of them and just reacting accordingly.
That is true.
And now the party does whatever they want and seems to be consistently well enough in terms of encounters.
Alright,
I'm
yeah.
always ready for both.
I think like the one where for like improvising characters and everything, it's easy because when you create a character with story and everything behind it, it's really easy to improvise. But improvising like, oh, we want to go to that dungeon that we decided we're not gonna go to
Oh,
this time, and that's why I'm like, yeah, definitely I can do that. Sure.
that does boil my blood. Yes.
Yeah. We said we're not gonna go there last week, and then suddenly this week, oh, let's go over there. That's gonna be fun, right, Aina?
What?
Aina, you do that?
No,
I have
the
no recollection of this.
okay, so like at some point when the party was in the unending storm,
Oh.
where like there's like cults everywhere and everything, they were saying like, okay, next week we're gonna go to that golden city because that's where the next boss are, like maybe the easier one. And then, alright, I made the city, make a mini quest in there and everything, and like, oh, what? There's a temple over there. Let's go over there instead. I'm like, okay, sure.
It's like it's that thing where like okay, we do this, but then oh my god, what is that? That's a butterfly. That sounds cool. I'm gonna go chase after it. That's what happened basically.
It's the Skyrim problem, you know. You're heading for one quest and like, oh wait, what? Yeah.
Yeah, so even though he does like Rain generally does ask his players what they want to do next session, sometimes the players are just like, you know what, this looks more interesting, let's go here.
It's nice to ask, and I started doing it recently.
Okay.
Because I had like a mini crisis for my last session, like this Sunday that just passed.
Yeah.
Because the party was supposed to like wrap up their business in a village and sail off to a new city.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the party members was wanted in that new city, like actively searched for it. The other one was like very hated by everybody in the city. And, well, not very hated, but prejudiced against at least.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, how the hell are they gonna get in there? Are they gonna sail in? Are they gonna drop off somewhere and walk the rest of it? Are they gonna sneak in? Are they gonna use magic? They're level 14 party, anything can happen. And I was racking my brain thinking about it. And then the session started, and they spent like 3 hours wrestling the party's paladin back to bed because he was drunk.
3 hours?
Something like that. It was like team building and role playing, and the session ended with them sailing out towards the city. And at the end of it, I was like, okay, so this aligned perfectly. Tell me what you guys want to do next session. And they gave me an actual plan I can plan around, which is
okay, there you go.
blessings upon them and their families.
Sometimes you're like, oh shit, I don't have enough content, what should I do? And then sometimes like, oh, okay, no, go on, talk, yeah. No, if you want to fight that bear, like pet that bear, go ahead. Spend 2 hours, go ahead. I'll be here.
Great.
I'll just push these contents to next week. Great, thank you. I love it. I love D&D, man.
Do you have any NPCs in your campaign that started off as a one-off encounter and ended up like lasting throughout the campaign?
Oh,
there
that
was
will
one.
have to be Arcus, definitely.
Yeah, we never expect, like, I remember when, like, we were wrapping up that campaign. This was our first ever campaign at Skillin' Rogues. You can find the backlog in our YouTube channel. It didn't last for that long because players kind of went their separate ways. Not players, sorry, characters. Players are still here. But yeah, like, it was just our mom / cleric / leader of the party found like a ball or something that has a demon or devil trapped inside it, and just started talking to him a lot. And suddenly, like fast forward a few sessions later, he has all of our souls, and we can all multi-class into a warlock because we now have, he suddenly becomes a big part of our life just because it's fun to interact with him. So
yeah. Like originally that orb that you guys interacted, I wanted to make like maybe like it's like the hag's wand, something like that, right? Okay, so he has an orb, and then the party kept interacting with that wand. So I thought, like, okay, let's give him something. Maybe like they see like something dark and mysterious from behind it. Okay, all right. And then Dakira, since she's I think like an arcane cleric or something, so like she's very
Knowledge
interested with
cleric.
knowledge cleric and really interested with this magical item. So investigated further. So I thought like, if I did further, the name's Arcus, and like he's actually the patron for that hag, and he's actually a demon that got a devil that got kicked out from the devil society. So he's trying to win his home back basically by collecting souls in the real world, and it just spirals out to this whole large thing when it's just a random thing. Oh, she's interested in the one. Let's put a fiend in there because why not? Yeah, and those are like the ones that I love the most. The one where like the story just spirals out from like a random point that the party is interested in. That one I really like.
He's my daddy. Anyway. Okay, that's
Uh,
Dungeons and Daddies are 1-1 now.
No, I mean
can you
like
student for copyright?
we have an emoji of him called Arcus Daddy in our,
In our Discord server, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe we'll have one in later tiers, maybe raid, nudge nudge. Yeah.
Sure.
So yeah, that's our glory story of the week. Before we finish off, one discussion since we have a bit more time. So, what would you guys consider as metagaming? So, from this post in r/D&D by TingTang96, he was mentioning that his brother, he was accused by the DM that his brother was accused by the DM that he was metagaming because he kept track of monster HP or AC. So, and that was considered as metagaming because you're keeping track of the HP or AC. Do you guys consider this as metagaming or what do you think?
I
I
would
don't
not.
think that's metagaming.
Yeah. Because like metagaming is like what I define as knowing something beforehand. I guess like knowing something that outside the game that your character shouldn't be able to know. But AC, that's something your character should be able to know. Especially in my world, of course, because AC is a defined term within the world. But like in general, adventurers could, gauge how well their enemies are. So I'm assuming at some point they can like, okay, I can guess your abilities around. If I were to grade between 1 to 30, you're about 15. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
Isn't
So, you
there
know-
also like, isn't there also like inquisitive rogues as well? Like they know information or something. Like the DM can tell.
I mean, yeah, sure. That's a separate thing entirely. That's the character's mechanic. This one's just the player, like what you guys did, basically. Like, 18 doesn't hit, and 18 doesn't hit, but 23 hits, so it must be in between that and that. To me,
Yeah.
that's not metagaming. That's just, the character learning about the enemy. That's cool.
What
Not,
about you?
it's not
Chris?
metagaming at all.
Yeah.
Well, because metagaming is defined as like using out of character information for in character advantage, right?
Mm.
And it's not out of character information to gauge how much armor your enemy is wearing or how much beating they can take before they go down. It's literally your character's experience on the matter. Like, oh, I fought skeletons before, like 3 good hits to the head and they're down. Like,
Yeah.
that's something your character would be able to say because they did that.
Yeah.
If you were reading a monster manual saying, oh yeah, so he has exactly 17 armor and 69, haha, funny, hit points. Like that's metagaming because your character doesn't know that because you never fought that monster. But from personal experience, fuck yeah, go for it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and then like if you wanna blur the lines a little bit, you can say you know or like can gauge a certain amount of HP a monster has, and chalk it up as saying, "Oh, my player like sees how badly injured it is and like feels like it's close to death." Or
Yeah. Or the amount of hits you've been doing to them, You've been hitting the guy, you know how hard you hit, so you can gauge how much damage the enemy has been taking, but you don't know how much HP they have left. And another cool thing that you can do is like, previously 23 hits, suddenly it doesn't hit anymore. What happened there? Ooh, something cool happening. DM must have did something. So, that's interesting.
DM must be cheating and lying. More like.
That's usually the first thought, yeah.
In fact, this monster
Like, in reference to the dragon, I had to beef it up somehow. It had like 15 health like by the end when it flew away.
It makes
And then when he
sense.
drank the potion, it had like 30 plus. So yeah, it had very little health. It's all about it staying away and like getting that coin to build up
Rip
its armor and
close.
everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, 800 feet sniper just doesn't care
I
about your
know.
maneuverability.
Hey, that's just your fault for giving him that big of a range of a
No, no,
weapon.
no, it's like an advantage because like it's outdoors and technically actually bows are like 600, so it's honestly not that different from like normal D&D. I tried not to make it realistic, the range, because the realistic range is like 2 miles, like 10,000 feet. Like, nah, man, that's way too far.
Well, these are energy weapons, you know?
Yeah, exactly. They
Something
fizzle
along
out.
those lines.
Yeah. But yeah.
Okay. So
Conclusive, not metagaming.
yeah, so that we're all in agreement here.
For the
But I
first time.
wonder, even Aldriel thinks the same as well. So
Yeah.
if any of you guys watching this as a shit, I got no, come
A
on.
VOD on YouTube?
Yeah, as a bot, that was the word.
Okay.
Leave down your comments. Is this metagaming? Is it not? Then we also note that you watch until the end of the show, and that is the
Hey.
end of the show. So, thank you for staying until now, and that's all we have for you this week. We'll see you guys next week for our 10th episode. 3 more episodes until the end of season 1. So in the meantime, stay safe and feel free to enjoy your healthy dose of D&D memes on your way out.
See you on Friday. Bye.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
Friday.
Makes those
At
noises
the
every
play
time.
campaign.
That's-
Oh my god.
Shut up!
We usually
I'm
just
trying
let
to,
him
trying to
tell his
advertise here,
story.
Rain. Shut up.
Actually out of breath.
Good. So
Yeah.
we'll see you guys on
Friday.
our campaign on Friday and also on Saturday for a different campaign.
for our actual play campaigns.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks for hanging out with us. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.